Hi, welcome. In this video, this is part two of my breakdown of the podcast involving Bill Church, pictured here, and Mark Anthony Dubose as a guest. And again, talking about these podcasts in terms of the type of discussion that you should expect by those who approach training as a learning based exercise and or take those core ingredients I talk about, influence and control, out of the equation altogether. And this whole kind of narrative of just kind of let a dog be, a dog. And again, opening up the door to problems for dogs and owners. In fact, many trainers actually getting blindsided by way of certain moments, okay, of aggression. And again, I encourage you, this is where I encourage you to watch my Flipping the Script series, where I actually profile some of those incidents. I talk about that. I show the common denominator when it comes to those who fail to consider what training represents in terms of how they engage a relationship problem and how they open the door up to not just getting bitten, but in terms of change not actually happening for many dogs and owners. So here I'm going to continue to play some of this back and forth. I'm going to stop it along the way to fill in some gaps, provide insight and context into this discussion.
As I was learning to be a dog trainer, I would always get bit by boxers, right? And so it was like I had this weird thing with boxers. I still do, honestly. Like it's weird. Like I just do because I've been bit like so many times by them. And I remember this one client, I was just like, okay, your dog's cool. Everything's good. You guys do what I said. I'll be back next week. I turn around and walk out the door and the dog nailed my ass.
So this is where, again, this whole thing about getting blindsided. My talk was like, I put it out there. I've only been bitten, one time in over 30 years. It was a dog that I wasn't handling at the time. Dog got loose on a guy. And, but the point of that is, don't get me wrong, mistakes can happen. You can have things can take place, but the point is to say that when you're aligned with a superficial process that lacks depth in terms of, the issue about control, the issue about relationship, then bad things are going to happen and happen a lot more often. Okay. And that is a problem because, again, I talk about this issue about once a dog bites somebody, oftentimes that's when hope is gone. That's when the dog owner will make a decision to say, I can't trust this dog. And so it's on kind of the shoulders of, trainers to understand what's going on. So I just find it interesting that these trainers talk about this whole thing about dogs and, they've been getting bitten. And then the narrative out there saying, well, just some dogs, just the way that they are. It's incredible to me, considering adding, layering this up in terms of let's look at the problems in the dog training world, look at all the things happening, and these trainers are not asking the questions. And I put information out, like a lot of these trainers I profile on my series, I've had direct discussions with them one way or another. So it's not like they're not, they haven't, gained that information. The problem here is the fact that they're kind of ideologically, bent or driven into just, doing what they want to do. Because understand something here, it's the same thing. Once you, encounter what the truth is, you have to do something with it. And here in this situation here I show very clearly that there's no wiggle room here. I talk about what training is and what it isn't. It puts many of these trainers in a position that they're simply not going to go into. They're not going to make that trade-off. It's just easy for them to, just ride this wave of confusion, this culture, and just keep saying what they're saying, that there's like more than one way. This is the way dog. It's just so easy to do that, but ethically and morally, totally twisted.
Like bit me so hard on the, like my butt cheek was blue, dude. And I remember driving to the next appointment that I had and I could barely sit. I was just like, dude, I'm in so much pain,
Yeah.
because I turned my back on this dog. I got a little bit too confident in the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally bit me in the butt, dude. And this is.
So again, the question is too confident. What does that mean? Trusting. I talk about this whole thing. I even related to the parenting example. The context of trust, even within this idea about what training is. Trust by way of control. Just like, you would say the same thing in terms of the example of a selfish child that trusts a certain parent because they get what they want. I mean, that's how trust is defined within the dog training world by way of this issue about control. I talk about this, how trainers walk into a situation and not defining what the process even is, absent the core ingredients. And so, when bad things happen or no change happens or they get bitten, then they just, there must be something wrong with the dog.
This is the industry that we work in that is going to bite you in the butt when you start to think that you know it all.
You got, yeah.
And see, here it is. Like, it'll bite you when you think you know it all. But what does that even mean? Because I'll put an information show. Here it is, transparency. You go through and audit everything I'm saying. I show it. And so it's not like the information isn't there. This is more about a culture clash. This is about, a agenda. This is about those who are just, it's like inconvenient information, very inconvenient, because it rubs all these trainers the wrong way based, again, on what they're marketing. So, but they'll keep saying this stuff about, there's truth is subjective. Anyone says that they know everything. Well, put it to the test, but here's the incredible thing. Trainers will go in and they won't ask the questions that they need to ask because they didn't do it at the beginning. I understand the slippery slope here because, again, once you get on that slippery slope, it's so easy just to become part of what's happening, not in a good way, because it's like it's so dysfunctional. A lot of these trainers, they're not accountable that way. They feel like they don't have to answer to anybody. They don't have to ask those questions. They don't have to confront the real issue because to do so requires a trade-off. Okay, because they can't keep doing or saying and doing the stuff they're doing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with me. I just see a lot of that on YouTube. This is it. I got it. This is all the answers. The one thing that I like hearing, I'll always keep watching, is when someone says, I don't know. Because I don't know means we're still trying to figure it out. But
well, that's incredible. You like that. I mean, I don't know. Like, wouldn't you want to know what the truth is? Because these trainers have been confronted with it. Understand, it's not like, it's not there. It's just like, but to confront it means you have to change. There's a trade-off. I find it incredible because, again, a lot of these trainers, they know what the truth is. But they keep, saying this stuff. And so you have to ask the question, well, why is it they're not willing to change? Why is it they're just in their comfort zone? Because that's really what it is. They're in their ideological comfort zone. And so they're only going to come alongside those who are going to allow them to keep saying the things that they're saying. This is why I had open challenge out there for Ivan Belnoff after the copyright strike situation. Say, I'll go on your podcast and we'll have a discussion like I did with Miracle Canine. You go watch the Miracle Canine, debate. It's a very uncomfortable conversation for those who don't want to actually line this stuff up. And see, that's the thing. Because people have gotten comfortable, because a lie will give comfort. More comfort than the truth. You start confronting, especially where we're at now in the dog training world, it's so bad, okay, that to confront, what the truth is, it puts people into a bad situation. But here's the thing: just consider what all these trainers are saying. Like there's more than one way. Like that we just keep looking. Does any of this even make sense? When you consider all the inherent problems, look at how many dog owners are continuing to struggle. All the blame shifting on the dogs. Do people actually think that it's some sort of accident? It isn't. It's incredible, but it's so dysfunctional that this is where we're at. So all to say that, stop it here, because this is kind of keying up on what this discussion really is about. This whole thing of just, you see a lot of these trainers go on these podcasts, and they'll only bring people on that they can continue to say the things that they're saying. They don't want to be confronted. To be confronted is a problem, because then you have to do something about it or deny it. But that's exactly where we're at in the dog training world. Thanks for watching.